mean, truly, my dad told me I was worthless, and my mum told me I was precious. So that you have this, and of course, you want to believe your mum.
Yeah.
But so and it was obviously, I am a strong person, and I have overcome. I function very well for someone who has had an abusive childhood, I think. But it's still with me. When I saw him afterwards, he said, "Oh, Alan." And I went, "Oh." I said, "Was it really bad? Did she really look like she was offended?" And she went, "She visibly stiffened."
Oh,
I love visibly
bet she
stiffened.
Did.
And so then we met her. She was nice when we met her. I feel I'm just like
brooding
players, blah blah. And they said, "Oh, what I've actually been doing is this, like rolling my eyes at them."
That's so good. Alan, you legend Cumming. How are you?
Pretty good. A little jet lag, a little exhausted, but I'm not. I mean, I'm here for you.
I know you are. But, you're a true pro.
Yeah, true pro.
You absolutely are.
I love a chat, but I'm in my general demeanour of life right now. I've had a crazy week.
You've been in how many continents in the last 2 days?
Well, I was in New York last night, and the night before that I was in Los Angeles, and the 2 days before that I was in New York, and 2 days before that I was in Aberdeen.
I mean, you're in one of those states where time is meaningless. Like, what is it?
I know, and it's also like I had a 10-minute nap that was brilliant.
Oh, did that work? If I have a nap, I usually feel worse, like groggy.
I'm very good at napping, and I'm always good. But I can also just think, okay, I thought I was going to have a nap for half an hour. I've only got 10 minutes. I'm going to make it really count.
And you can fall asleep that quickly. Wow, I'm so jealous.
I can sleep. I always sleep on planes. I always sleep in cars. I sleep on floors and in dressing rooms and things like that. I just have got. Gosh, you've got written a lot of books. I knew you'd written this one because I saw you on telly.
Yeah,
but all those ones over there.
I've written more than that even.
How many have you written altogether?
16, Alan.
Shut up.
I got to keep busy. I can't sit around.
No.
Like you.
But yes, hello.
You can't sit around. I mean, you are always. You've just said how much you've been travelling recently. You are always on the go, whether it could be TV hosting, could be film, could be theatre, writing. You are prolific in all areas.
Yes.
Is that pure drive or is there restlessness?
I think it's a combination of things. I mean, I like being busy. I like being eclectic, and I like not ever really overly dwelling on one thing. So I like the sort of lightness and the nimbleness of it and sort of floating through life. I do. The older I get, I sort of do think, oh, am I really, who am I trying to, I don't know, maybe I'm trying to prove too much or something. I sort of think that of late because, it's like 40 years since I've been working as a professional actor and person. So, but no, I just actually think I have a lot of, I'm given a lot of opportunities to do things that I really like. I maybe am trying to do a little less than I have done, or it's too much right now. But I really enjoy it. And, yeah. But
and that's a gift when you love what you do.
Oh my God, I really, it doesn't feel like you forget. I think that most people in the real world do jobs that they don't really like in order to get money to do what they like in their lives.
Yeah.
And we get paid to do the thing we really like.
So lucky.
I know.
So
and
lucky.
It's an incredible thing when you have friends and they say things about like, oh, well, I'm just doing this. And you think, oh God, I forgot. That's most people's experience.
Yeah, I know. We are extremely, extremely lucky. At what point do you think, as a youngster, did you have your heart set on, I think I'm going to enjoy that? Because you don't know. You could watch a film or a TV show or go to a theatre show and think, that's probably amazing. Of course, there's always going to be shit bits, unglamorous bits.
Yeah.
But you had an inkling, that's for me.
Yeah, I think I sort of thought, it wasn't even actually the, going to the theatre, going to seeing. I mean, I think I first liked the feeling of it. It was more about, and I do still feel like that. I feel like it's the feeling I get, and I like the sort of process of acting or performing or creating. that I really like. And like, you know, there's been a big upturn for me in the last sort of couple of years in dealing with all the stuff because of the Traitors. And, you know, especially in this last week in America has been a lot. And I have been going to these big things. But I actually was thinking, gosh, you know, all that stuff, I sort of said this thing like, you know, a little piece of you dies, your soul dies every time you take a selfie and things like that. Because I had a t-shirt once that was really good. It said, even though you like getting a photo taken with a celebrity, celebrities don't necessarily like getting a photo taken with you. A bit brutal, sorry, but true. Because I feel like all the detritus of it, sometimes, and especially when you're promoting things, as I am right now, that becomes your job, and that's not really what I wanted to do when I first started. I didn't, obviously you don't know about all that stuff.
And that's more to do with fame, right, than the job.
Exactly.
And that's bullshit.
And that's a totally different thing.
Well,
like when people
nonsense.
say, oh, well, that comes with the job. I say, well, no, actually, the job is this over here. And I didn't, you know, it wasn't when I was 20, I wasn't, you know, on the red carpet at the Time 100 list.
No, and I think fame meant something very different back then.
Absolutely.
When I started in the 90s, it was a very different thing. I don't think I understood what it was going into the industry. I kind of thought, oh, you might be known because you're on the TV, but it wasn't a job in itself as I think it is today.
Yes, it's such a, like, more, like with the Traitors, I spend more time promoting the Traitors than I actually do shooting it.
Mad.
Yeah.
Mad.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
And also it's just sort of, anyway, I love my job. I really do. And there's some things I like about I mean, you know, honestly, I really, I'm not bitching about it. I mean, I am a wee bit. Like, when on planes and things and people want a photo and you think, I don't want, you know.
Or you're in the loo or something.
In the loo, or picking up your dog's poop. And just like, no, not now. Or, and I've got much better at just saying, I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, nice to meet you.
Yeah, and that's absolutely okay.
And also the thing, what's really good, I've learned, if you say to someone, if I take a photo with you, everyone will see, and my entire evening will be taking photos with everyone in this room, and they go, totally get it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good to sort of just be honest with people, and I'm always nice and kind and stuff like that, but sometimes you just think, I don't want to.
No.
And I think that's fair enough. You don't have to. It's not, you know, sometimes people are like, oh, come on. But I don't know, that part of it is, you know, if it's an event and it's a premiere or something, absolutely, that's what you're there for.
Yeah, of course.
But in your life, in your real life. And I suppose that's why, you know, the older I've got, the more I've sought out sort of places away from it all.
Yes, that is so important.
Yeah,
it's so
having
important.
a sanctuary.
You can love your job, you can do it as much as you want, as long as there is. Hasn't even got to be balance, I don't think. I think balance is usually unrealistic. I've definitely not got any balance in my life. It's sort of most of the time chaotic with work and kids, and I've chosen that.
Yeah.
But if you can have tiny moments, for me, that is usually solitude. I love being on my own.
Totally.
You like solitude?
Having a bath.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
I love having a bath.
And I've got this right now. I have a little fan. I mean, so I've got this new. Well, it's not new, but we had the renovations done on this house, and I feel like, you know, if you're lucky enough to be able to have a house that you can make it the way you want to, and for me, I've realised what that is a sanctuary away from everything. And I've got this house in Scotland where there's a little pond. I call it a loch. It's not really a loch. It's got an island. I call it Loch.
Is there a word for a mini loch?
A lochen.
A lochen.
Yeah, a lochen. And there's a little. And I've got a sauna. I've got to put a sauna on the banks of it, and a little jetty thing. So you go in the sauna and you jump in.
Love that.
To the thing. You're like,
I love that shit.
That doesn't take long, but that to me is like, that's my thing. I made it, and I thought about it. That's what I wanted to do, and I've done it, and I love it. My new thing that is my sort of tradwife fantasy that I've got an aga, and I want to make gluten-free scones.
So niche.
Yes, I really think about these things.
Agas are tricky.
Are they?
Yeah, I had one many, many years ago. I bought a tiny cottage, and it happened to have an aga in it. I must have been 24. I barely cooked. Maybe I was younger than that. And it's always at the same temperature, so you have to obviously learn. It's a whole new way of cooking.
Yeah.
And there's maybe it's a 3 chambers.
in
It
oven.
was confusing.
Well, see, what's funny is that before the renovations, there was an oil one, and now we've got an new electric one. So I'm
that's
thinking
basically
it's
an
going
oven.
to be, it's going to be. Well, it's got those things that go up like that.
Yeah. Love those.
I love that. I just want to, so I want my sort of tradwife at home, and I like this thing of I'm going to be leaning against the little thing where the towel rails is warming your bum.
Warming your bum after a big walk or after you've jumped in the locken.
In Loch Lala.
Oh, so dreamy.
I do. So I really, I absolutely, in my life is completely the same in terms of it's not balanced, but I do have like little things that I feel, at least if I can do that.
Yes. Because when I heard you on Lulu's podcast, maybe a few years ago now, and she asked you if you were a workaholic. And it's a really interesting question because, perhaps I could say that I am, you could say that you are. But actually, I think when I look at how prolific you've been, how diverse your career is, it seems more so that you just need to create. It's something, a desire within you it's not like I just must fill my diary. It's like you've got to be creating. That's part of who you are. Yeah,
I think it's true. And I always think if you're an addict, it means that you wake up in the morning, you have to do that thing, or you can't do without the thing. I can do without. Like I love, I like the year with COVID was my favorite year of my life, not working.
Yeah,
and I just loved it.
Do you know what I loved?
What?
Not getting invited anywhere.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Like,
I didn't have to think of an excuse.
The first premiere I went to, it was so good. I was like, oh my God, I forgot how much I don't like these things.
Yeah, awful.
But just, like not having that. So it's not that I didn't miss any of that that year. But I do feel it is about being creative. Like why I laugh when you said about being creative is that at my theatre that I run, Pitlochry Festival Theatre, I'm the artistic director there. One of the people, our finance guy, Dougie, said to me, Alan, you have too many ideas. And I was like, oh, sorry. And I thought, wait, why am I saying sorry? But I do. I sort of feel, sometimes I feel like I wish I didn't have so many ideas because I'm also quite strong-willed and I'm good at manifesting things. And so sometimes, the other day, this is so weird. Like yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? I met Dakota Fanning at this thing in LA, and I was talking to her about Budapest, and I said, "Oh, I love Budapest. I made a film there years ago, and she's making a film there." And I remember thinking, "Oh, I'll manifest that I want to do another film in Budapest so I can go there." And then I thought, "Oh no, don't stop it right now because that will happen, and you want to be making scones."
Why do you think you're particularly good at it? Because I think, over the years, I've been pretty good at that. I'm just a random kid from the suburbs, and then I ended up doing this extraordinary job because I was so dead set on that idea. There was no other option. I'm not quite sure what the other bits of the alchemy are that are necessarily needed. I think, the whole manifesting thing can be talked about in a way that feels like, oh, I'm failing at manifesting, I'm failing at life. But,
yes.
I think if you are strong, it might be as simple as if you are that strong-willed and your vision is that clear and you're determined to put the work in, which is the other bit that's often missing from the convo.
And it's also not crazy things. If
deluded.
I'm manifesting, I want to go to Budapest. That's not.
No, you're not saying I want to become a premier footballer.
Right. Yeah. Or yeah. But I've done things like that.
You might be good at football. I've just assumed that. Okay, you're not. Okay.
But I was just thinking a few years ago, I did a thing. I said, I really want to do. Oh, I remember when the last time I did cabaret, I've done that musical cabaret a few times, and I did it on Broadway, and I was 50, and I finished, and I remember thinking, whoa, I'll never be asked to dance like this. This is the end of something. I'll never use my body like this for my work again. And I thought, I've still got one more in me. And I thought, I'll do something. I'll do a show that's sort of, I'll dance in a musical or something, or, blah, blah, blah. What happened was, and I sort of was thinking, what can I do? I ended up doing a one-man dance theatre piece about Robert Burns that nearly killed me. And so that's the dangers of manifestation.
Yeah. You have the idea, and also you put it into action as quickly as possible. I think if you have the idea and you sort of dilly-dally too much, that's where it floats off. You've got to kind of get into it straight away. But seemingly there's something within your personality, your makeup, whatever you've inherited from your ancestors, that has enabled you to think big, dream big, and have the discipline to do it. Because I've heard when you, for instance, did your speech when your Walk of Fame star in Hollywood was placed down, you mentioned a teacher who had said some pretty shitty things about you, like you wouldn't amount to anything, you wouldn't work in the arts or whatever.
Never make it as a professional actor, yeah.
And that drove you further. I think for some people that would stop you in your tracks, like, oh God, yeah, I am. Yeah. What am I thinking? But your mindset is often to go, well, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yes. But I still feel that I still feel I want to speak out and say how wrong that is, because I, by whatever fluke or act of will, didn't, I'm a successful actor. I also feel there would be a lot of other people who would be squashed by that and would be damaged
I think most
by
would.
that. And I was damaged by that, very much so, for quite a few years. But I also realised that it's also connected to my father, that I feel that I had in the same way that he told me I was not able to do something, I was sort of worthless in this area, this teacher. My father told me that as well. And so I feel like from a very early age I had to make up my own mind about things, because I could see that things weren't right. Or there was one person, like my parent, one parent telling you were terrible and nothing, and one parent telling you were great. So they can't be both right. So I feel in my life I've got two things. One, I'm suspicious of people who are extreme in their putting me down. And two, I let them do it for quite a while longer than I should before I get my shit together. That's the sort of legacy of it. But I do feel it's that's why I spoke. I've always wanted to talk about that, actually, about the teacher. And I didn't say who they were or anything. That's not what interests me. But it's about the fact that I had those things happen to me that I am acknowledging were really damaging and could have ended it for me. But I persevered because I believed in myself, I think.
Yeah, well, because when we're young, our brains are still developing. So, of course, you're so sponge-like, taking on every bit of criticism and then forming an opinion of who you are as a person, which I think we probably keep on figuring out until the day we die. Yeah. But when you're young, you're so susceptible to that kind of critique. And I think, you've obviously talked a lot about your dad growing up, and when you're a tiny kid, especially sort of 0 to 7, where that imprint on a young kid can be lifelong. Yeah. It is remarkable that you've managed to override that, because I think, again, many people, and I've sat here and interviewed lots of people, or even I could look at my own life or people that I've interviewed in other areas, are completely screwed from the moment they go out into the big wide world to find out how they fit into it. They're blocked because they've been told, you're a piece of shit, you're worthless, you won't amount to anything. I think it takes, again, like a whole recipe of strength and courage, resilience and determination to override that sort of childhood.
I think it does. But also I think it is very, for me, I realise now my mum being this, being the polar opposite, telling me the polar opposite. I mean, truly my dad told me I was worthless. And my mum told me I was precious. So that you have this, and of course you want to believe your mum. Yeah. But so and it was obviously, I am a strong person, and I have overcome, I function very well for someone who has had an abusive childhood, I think. But it's still with me. That's what, I wrote a book, about it, and then I wrote another book, kind of about the fact that it's another book, but also about the fact that I didn't want people to think that because I had suddenly revealed all this stuff about myself, that it was all kind of tied up. It's very American sort
all
of thing.
Done.
Oh yeah, fine. Oh, you overcame it. Yeah, it's not. It's with me all the time, and I. As I say, I allow that kind of behaviour. I realise even to this day, I allow people to behave towards me, a certain type of man. Yeah, probably, who is sort of telling me that, is kind of maybe slightly, gaslighting me or something, or undermining me. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does, I see, this is a new thing I've realised. I let it go on too long. because I'm sort of thinking, oh, they must be right. They can't, I give them
and
too
it's
much.
familiar. I think a lot of that.
Absolutely.
We're like, oh, I know this. I know how. I know this dance.
Fine. Yeah, I'm used to this. Yeah. So I, but also just even things like, there's just a lot of, there's many things about anger and violence. Like this new Russell T Davies show that I've done was very difficult because it's about the way that violence and hatred is normalized, and it was very triggering.
God, I bet it was
in many ways. But it was also why I wanted to do it.
I mean, I watched the first 2 episodes, and it is like many of his shows, raw and gritty, and you've got so many different emotions wrapped up into the story, love and sorrow, and you're living next door to David Morrissey, who plays, I guess, sort of like the other end of the spectrum in terms of worldviews, values, politics, and you're trying to work out how to live alongside each other. I mean, it is the opening scene of episode 1. I was like, oh my God, it's shocking. I can't imagine how triggering most of it was. But there are some beautiful storylines in there. Like, I just watched episode 2 today, and I don't want to give too much away for people that haven't seen it, but I had a good old hearty cry at the lovely text exchange that you were having with the young neighbour. It was so
beautiful. Yeah,
beautiful.
I know I could cry when I think about that. I saw it, a couple of months ago, and I'm in it. It's been quite familiar to me for the last couple of years. But I was on the edge of my seat, but also I was incredibly moved by those things, which is great because, I was moved by them when Russell told me about the story, and then when the scripts came in, so the fact that I moved when the finished product is so great, because often you aren't, often doesn't quite land in the same way. But no, that's really beautiful, and also I think it's so moving. His past relationship with his ex, is really lovely. With Charlie Condu plays my ex in it, and it was a lot, but a lot of sort of dad stuff kind of came up during that time, and I had this very monastic existence doing it. Yeah, a lot. I mean, I've been in therapy for I don't know, 30 years, something like that. So
therapy is the best.
I'm all for it. I mean, it's so incredibly helpful to me. And just as a checking in thing. Not sometimes there's obviously things that I want to talk about this, or other times it's just I always say it's like going to the gym for your mind.
Yep.
And I love it. And
got to keep going.
Totally. And just to be reminded of certain, my therapist will just say, "Oh well, you're probably feeling that because of." And you go, oh yeah, yeah.
We can't see it because we're in it.
Yes.
You just need someone to. I have that literally every week. Like, oh my God, how could I? That's so obvious. That's right there. But we're living it. So when you're shooting something like Tiptoe, and you are confronted in a scene, or there's something that's come up, it could be a feeling that you weren't expecting because of the nature of what you're discussing in the scene. There's some big, heavy, political subjects in there, and how the two characters are kind of so opposing in so many ways. What do you do to make sure then that you're all right, rather than just sort of, you can't obviously leave set and then just integrate back into the world with all those feelings?
I mean, on this, because we shot it in Manchester, and in a funny way, I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to Manchester, and like I run a bar in the story on Canal Street, and I've never really spent very much time in Manchester, only just little fleeting visits. And I remember thinking, I'll have a great time. I'll be out in Canal Street. I'll go to all that. It'll be really fun. I'll let go because I'll go dancing all the time. But
nothing.
I was like a monk. I went out a couple of times at weekends, but no, I'd go home and be quiet. I know, it's so not like me, actually. But that was the way I dealt with it. And I had my dog with me, and I think that was really important.
Yeah.
For a lot of the time, Lala was with me, and I, just having to go out with her and having to sort of get up a bit earlier, and just, and even just the gym. I've become one of those people that sort of waxes lyrical about the gym, and recently I found myself saying, what's your favourite non-alcoholic beer? And I thought, what have they done to Alan? And I'm drinking again. But I just really was, I let it, in a funny sort of way, having access to your emotions and being someone that is, I'm very conscious of that. A lot of the things that I have to do are triggering or challenging to what, some of the things that I found really difficult in my life. And I'm not, I go through life, I'm a happy person, but I'm also prepared to be vulnerable. And I think that's what you have to do to be an actor, to be a good actor. You have to be prepared to be vulnerable. So and of course it's not, you can't just switch it off. But the fact that I use the fact that I am like that in life, I feel like I'm like that, and like I'm constantly, joy is here, but also despair is maybe there too. And I'm not despairing a lot of the time, but I feel things, and so I use that in my work. But also I would, to sort of get out of it, I would go out and have fun and da. In this one, it was. Also, I didn't know so many people in Manchester, and so going out in public when you don't know so many people, you have to go out in a posse to keep, So that was one of the things as well, and So I was a little bit of a monk.
Do you think it's always helpful to sort of have that access or level of exposure to stuff from the past? Because, obviously there is exposure therapy. I've done it in certain ways with EMDR, the eye movement therapy, which I found really helpful. But I think when you're doing it on the job, you're working, you're confronted with issues that might make you feel a certain way, or a memory might flash up. Do you think it's always helpful, or because I'm always considering how much should we leave things in the past and go, I've dealt with that, it's done, versus I need to have an awareness that it's there so that I don't get caught out, or I don't get.
Well, I think it's not like when I'm doing a scene, I'm not thinking, oh, this is like the past, or this is like an instant in my life. I suppose that's what method acting is, and I don't really adhere to that at all. I'm being, I'm just pretending to be someone else and meaning it. But sometimes when the situations you're pretending are very similar to things you have great experience of, then it sort of helps. But I think in general, just being someone who is willing to show your vulnerability in your life, on your face, and is helpful to being a good artist, and especially on film, because you're. That's why it's so crazy that I'm doing the Traitors, because I have the worst poker face ever. In real life, I'm like.
So does Alan Carr, and he bloody won the UK one. That was why.
His head off.
It was hilarious.
Yes, I know. It's so funny. I saw Maura. Do you know Maura?
Yeah.
She's Irish. She was at the Time thing last night. She was interviewing me, and she goes, "Why did you not make me a traitor?" And I was like, well, I don't. Well, if we had, you wouldn't have had that great moment on TV. But I don't have good poker face in real life, and I think that's.
I don't. I couldn't go on it.
Couldn't you?
I can't lie.
But then you would maybe like if you. I mean, I think the thing is, when you have to lie. That's kind of like acting when you have to lie. But even like I don't know whether I'm getting sloppy, but like I have a thing in my ear all the time when I'm doing it. And what do you call this again?
Earpiece.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Wow.
You're jet lagged.
I am jet lagged, yes. So I have my earpiece in, and this great guy called Sam, who's the producer who was always talking to me. And sometimes I feel I'm just like
brooding.
Players, blah blah. And they've said, oh, what I've actually been doing is this, like like rolling my eyes at them. Going,
that's so good.
Like when they've made really stupid decisions, and so you have to, I have to, like, I've just sort of lapsed from character, really.
No, I'm like that. I sort of can't not say the thing, like say the truth. I would rather always just, or like I'm not very good if I've got not somebody else's secret, but a secret about me. I can't not say it.
Yes.
I have to just say the thing.
I don't like surprises and secrets.
I hate surprises.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not good with them. I'll always find out that it's going to happen. I've got a spidey sense and
You
I'll
do,
work
yes.
it out. Yeah. I don't like surprises.
I hate
No.
often. It's quite often they do things. You know, when you're doing press stuff, they do. Oh, we've got a surprise you,
Oh,
and
fuck
my heart
that.
sinks.
Yeah, and here's
I know.
your primary school teacher.
Yeah,
no, we don't want that.
No.
So say when you're it could be anything. Theatre, I know you've got a big load of theatre shows coming up. Traitors, which is so gargantuan in the States. It is a massive show like it is here, but on a ginormous scale. Or you're in a film, whatever. Does the feeling of that unworthiness or the past from your upbringing, does it creep into those big moments is it a dialogue? Is it an inner narration of I shouldn't be here? When does it crop up? What is it?
It's not. I feel very, now anyway, I feel very that I'm good enough. I understand my power.
Yeah.
I do. And I feel I know what I have to offer. And it's great actually doing things like, I think when I'm acting, I feel like I'm a good actor, and I feel I do tell the story, and I can be heart-wrenching, I can be funny, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm not insecure about acting.
Yeah.
But in the thing like at Pitlochry, I am really aware. I understand what I bring, like what it means, what I can provide to the theatre and because of me being famous Alan coming, and then me attracting people to come, and what all that means. I absolutely get all that. I don't have a problem with all that. No, it's not really like that. It's just that sometimes I can get triggered by certain personalities. I will allow people to be, abusive, I suppose.
Yeah.
Abusive. And it could be sort of, and it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I think, I should have stopped that sooner. I should have seen that coming. That's my black spot. Is that what you call it? Blind spot.
Blind spot, yeah.
That's what it is. And it's sort of, and it's also like one of these things because I am so confident and I understand I am very self-aware, I think, except that, and then when something like that does happen, and it did happen actually, relatively recently, and I'm mad at myself for having allowed it to happen and not having seen it. But that's the whole point. That's the whole point, is that it's so ingrained for all my formative years. That was my familiar, was someone undermining me and telling me I was, and also the thing of people getting pleasure out of hurting you. That's something that's so difficult to, like, that that thing that people actually, you can see they're enjoying this power they have over you. And also it's the thing about when you're famous and blah, blah, blah. And I bet you know this too, that people want to bring you down sometimes. And it's just really like, why? Why do you, I'm not doing this to you. And what is it about? It's all about them, of course, their feelings of insecurity. So that's the thing. It's hard, I think. It's just like this, you walk into a room and there's people know a lot of stuff about you, have loads of opinions about you. You don't know them or have any opinions about them. And you go in open like this. And even when you are open like this, it can be interpreted in a different way because of all the baggage they've got about you. That is exhausting.
Yeah.
And especially when you go into situations where you're having to genuinely interact and communicate and connect with people, you just realize how much work, how you've got to scrape through it all to get to them,
Yeah, and you've also got to, it's such a strange thing, but you've got to go, I'm a human.
Yeah,
I'm just
I'm a
a
nice
human.
person. Yeah,
I'm just like
me.
a regular
Yeah.
guy. That is exhausting and bonkers.
It was funny when I started the job at Pitlochry, I sort of said that I felt they wanted to do these, what am I doing that for?
We're doing charades.
Yes, it's a TV show. I was filmed. I wanted to do a documentary film about me doing it and about me starting this job. And I thought, I don't want to go into this arena, a new arena for me, running a theatre and I'm like, oh, famous person comes to run the theatre. And with a film crew, like the first time I'm meeting all these people with a film. So I said no. I didn't want to do it and I said this thing, I felt like, I thought people thought I was going to be like Godzilla, stomping through Pitlochry, kind of, and I was right to think that. I think that because people did have, there is a scenario there that people sort of believe in, and so you have to. A lot of the time, starting in that job was about trying to sort of push that aside, and I genuinely feel I'm actually really quite good at that. When I'm in a room with people, and they see me, and what I think did it. When I felt like I've got them and they understand me, was when I DJ'd a big party and we danced our tits off.
Yeah.
And it was and I invited all the town to come. I love that. My little flyer of me DJing.
What did you
was
play?
I play all sorts of, I'm like into poppy, disco, funny,
Oh, I like that.
I love and I dance myself.
Yeah.
Like now I think, since I've done it, I like DJing. But I think when I go to a club and I think, or a party, I think, why is the DJ not dancing? Why the fuck should I dance if the DJ's not dancing?
In a morose manner.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No.
So I dance too and get everyone dancing. And it's just such fun. And they had flyers for it in the chip shop and the co-op. And all the people from the town came. And I feel it was
it's a good leveler.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel if you can't dance and let go, and also I feel like I'm good at losing my inhibitions, and I think I am good at encouraging people to lose inhibitions, because I'm basically saying I'm not going to judge you, and that's what it is. You create a because I'm like bonkers and dancing away, so why can't you?
Yeah,
and it is such a thing. It's hard for some people to do, but I love it when it happens.
Yeah, how
it's the best
gorgeous,
feeling.
and it is ultimately so bonding, because I think then you go into work the next day, and we've all had a lovely dance the night before.
Absolutely.
And it's a sigh. It's a sigh of relief. When you were talking a moment ago about certain people that can trigger that feeling in you, I totally know what you're saying, because I have it with, it's quite niche, people that I know have gone to like a fancy uni who are men, who are journalists. It's that combination.
Wow, right, yeah.
So when I sense that that's who I'm being interviewed by, they went to Oxbridge, and my instant thing, I'm making it all up in my head because this might not be the case, but they're going, stupid, uneducated, like they're just judging me from the get-go. Some have been vile.
That's probably because at some
I've had a
point
couple
that has
who have been
happened. So you're
vile.
not
But
imagining it.
And what happens to me in that moment is I become probably 13, like in my everything, like in my body, I can feel like, oh my God, I'm like this. I've sort of folded in on myself. I feel like a silly teenager, because you do sort of regress back to whatever that may have been back then.
Yeah.
Do you have that sense, like you become, is it childlike in that moment?
I think maybe I'm just trying to think about this recent thing, no, in a funny sort of way. Well, I tried, it was two phases. So the first bit, and I suppose which is the bit you're talking about, the triggering bit, I try super hard. I think, what is wrong? What have I done wrong? I think mea culpa. What have I done wrong? What is this? How can I'm not doing this right. I should have, blah, blah, blah. And which is, I'm worthless. I'm terrible. And it's not that I don't go through that in general in my life, but when I'm challenged in that way and I feel like I'm not doing something well, or I'm letting someone down, I go like, oh, it's me. I've got to work hard. I've got to do. And then there comes a point when I'm like, oh no, how dare you? And I have, look at the situation here, and I completely turn. So I wish the first bit would be less.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, oh, this is what we're going to do here. Mm-hmm. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to be fair, and we're not going to, but we're not doing this.
No.
And that part, I also do, what did you think you were doing? Why are you trying to undermine me? Why would you do that? That when that happens, I'm very good at, that's the thing, I'm very good at confrontation.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
I'm working on that one.
I've got, I don't know why, but I've got so much better at it. And I think the thing is, sometimes when you say that, people think that means you're good at shouting. And confrontation to me is not.
No.
That's confrontation is just going, I want to talk about this, or I'm not going to do that.
Which is so healthy. People want that. We want to know where we stand with people,
Absolutely.
what the boundaries are.
Yeah, it's like even saying, I don't want to take a selfie.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually a confrontation. And when I've just got really good at it over the years, and I'll just say to people, you know, I need to talk to you about this or blah, blah, blah. That rather than getting angry about it or storing it up, which I think is probably what I used to do.
Same.
When I was younger. It's actually been really interesting. Like right now, I'm in the middle of doing the High Life musical in Scotland with Forbes and my you know, who we wrote the sitcom 30 years ago. Yeah, it's so cool you
brought it back for this. It's great.
It's so nuts.
I love it.
So hilarious. So bonkers. And Siobhan Redmond and Patrick Rycart, the original other two actors in it, we're all in it. And, you know, we're all 1,000 years old. And we're with these bunch of amazing young actors who weren't born when the series first went out. It's so nuts. But it's been interesting going back to like working with Forbes or even working with Siobhan and Patrick. It's 30 years later, and I think I think I deal with things in a different way. You know, I don't like Forbes and I think I say to him, I don't think we should do this, or we should, you know, I rather than, I think perhaps in the past I think I would have stored it all up and sort of hoped I was sending the signals to him that I wanted when I might not have been.
Yeah.
And now I'm really clear about it. I just, and it seems like you're being do, but actually you're just being clear.
Oh, it's so much better than building up the resentment and then being pissed off or being passive aggressive or no one wants that. No. I think it's a great life skill having.
It really is. I'm not quite sure how it happened, but it has happened. It's so funny. I remember like recently, so a couple of years ago, my house in New York was being renovated, and the builders said, "Oh, yes, you can move in on this certain date. So sell your old apartment. It's ready. Yeah, we're ready to go." And then we sold the apartment really fast, and they said, "Oh, there's a 3-month delay."
Oh,
and I was furious, furious. And I remember I said to the head of the building, I said, "If this was a restaurant, you'd give me a free meal. What are you going to give me?" And I did this whole thing, and I got I got another year of warranty, and I didn't have to pay the thing after a certain date. It was pretty, like, fair enough, you know, duh. And everything. And I told my business manager about this, and he said, "Gosh, you're really good at confrontation. I wish I was that good at confrontation." I was like, "I don't want to hear that from you, my business manager." But what was hilarious was that when it was all finished, and you know, like when you have finished, like here it's called snagging.
Right, yeah.
So we're having that in our place up in Scotland right now, snagging,
yeah.
But they call it something else in America, I can't remember. Anyway, I was coming out of the house one day, and the man that I'd gone to town with, and he was scared of me after that. He was coming up the steps, and he saw me, and he kind of blanched, and he sort of went, "Oh, well, so Alan, you know, you're here in the house now, and it's so beautiful, and it's worth all the trouble, isn't it?" And I said, and I just think, this is like, I'm so glad I have this skill that I actually can say these lines, think of these lines at times. I said, "My rage for you is diminishing, yes."
So theatrical.
Isn't it good? So Betty Davis. "My rage for you is diminishing, comma, yes." I loved that.
I need to use that in the future. I'm on a very good path towards that. I used to be so bad at confrontation. I've just done a book tour, and me and my friend Pauna, who were chatting about this very subject, sort of people pleasing and not wanting to rock the boat.
Yeah.
Sort of thought of like the worst one that we've both done, which is when you're in a massage and someone is really going to town and they go, "Is the pressure okay?" You're literally crying.
And you say,
"Is
no.
the pressure okay?" And you go, "It's great." What? Why are you not saying this is stop? It hurts.
Yeah.
It's mad. Anyway, I'm not there anymore.
That's
I'm
good.
not where you. I'm in the middle. I'm getting there.
Oh, that's hilarious. So that's such a good example.
It's so ridiculous. Before we wrap up, we've already touched on music and your love of DJing and playing great tunes, we are making a happy place playlist where we're going to put, all of our guests have put brilliantly happy songs on there, or songs that make them feel buoyant and jubilant and want to dance around. What would you put on our playlist?
Am I allowed? There's a mashup by David Guetta. How do you say it again?
Guetta.
Of the Proclaimers.
Is this the one you couldn't play on Desert Island Discs?
Yes. And so because I don't know why I couldn't play it, because it's a
BBC.
Yes, BBC. So it's the Proclaimers, 500 Miles, Sia, Titanium, and
Genius.
Midnight Oil. I always get which one's the band and which one's the song. The time has come.
Oh yeah.
To say fair is fair. That one.
What a mashup.
Honestly, it's genius.
We're putting that on there. No one else, unsurprisingly, has put that on there.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Because also it starts with the Midnight Oil thing, and everyone's like, oh, and then it goes dun 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 dun, and it's like, oh, it's Sia. Then you hear when I wake up.
Yes.
Oh, I know. And I was like, what? It's the Proclaimers. And then it keeps coming in at different times, and it's so good.
Desert Island Discs made you just play the Proclaimers, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, it was just straight up.
I know.
It was great, but it wasn't.
It wasn't what I wanted to do, and. Because of it was a mashup. Because it's on SoundCloud and things like that, and not actually, it's not commercially available. That's what it is.
We'll find it. We'll get that from somewhere. That's going on there.
Have you done Desert Island Discs?
No, I'm not there yet. One day, please pick me.
Guys, I'm really intrigued about when people cry because everyone cries.
Yeah,
and
well, music evokes.
Yeah,
everything.
And also
when
you're doing it, like it starts. And you hear this theme tune.
Yeah.
And it's actually because you've got headphones on.
It's such a moment.
It's much better. You hear the little seagulls and everything.
Oh,
and you're like, oh my God, I'm actually on
it.
Desert Island.
And I've
Discs.
listened to it forever.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
I love it. I love
it.
when it's like some random scientist lady.
Oh, me
that
too.
I've never heard of. And I think, well, you're amazing. Yeah.
I love it.
I
it's
do
just
love
the
all that.
storytelling. It's so good.
Yeah. It's just such a brilliant. And so many people have tried to do versions of it over the years in different ways. But actually, the old-fashionedness of it, and the thing like what you have to think of what you would actually take for an island if you were going on an island yourself. I took marijuana seeds.
Why not?
Why not?
If you're going to be there, you might as well have a good time.
Right.
And be chilled out.
Yeah,
One of my favourites is Princess Margaret. Have you listened to that one?
No.
Oh my God. It's from obviously a million years ago. It is genius.
Do you know, I'm obsessed with Princess Margaret.
Me too.
Because I love just, I once insulted Princess Margaret.
No, you did not.
Forbes and I, it was so funny because recently someone sent us a picture of us in those things that after, and it looks like Princess Margaret is curtsying to Forbes. I think she was just smaller than him, or maybe I don't know. But this is probably in the like 1987 or 8 or something, very long time ago, and it was a gala for Scottish Ballet. And she was the patron of Scottish Ballet. Right. And it was at the time when, it was like when Andrew and Fergie were all busy. And she was all like Princess Margaret's and Alki and all that stuff. All that. So, and we were Victor and Barry, these characters, and we were sort of huge in Scotland at the time. And we came on, but it was a frosty crowd.
Right.
And we said this gag, we said, which one's Fergie, like that, and Princess Margaret's up in the thing, and he went, no, it's not, it's Margaret. I was like, which one is she, like this, and Forrest went, oh, that's her up there, munching the chocolate liqueurs, right? That's what we said. Kind of funny.
That's great.
And the whole place just went,
oh,
like that, and we were like, oh, and my friend who was sitting near her. After I thought it'll be fine. It was a little for everyone. Everyone's nice. When I saw him afterwards, he said, "Oh, Alan," and I went, "Oh." I said, "Was it really bad? Did she really look like she was offended?" And she went, "She visibly stiffened."
Oh,
I love visibly
bet she
stiffened.
Did.
And so then we met her. She was nice when we met her.
One final quick question: where, Alan Cumming, is your happy place?
My happy place is at home. At home, I think probably it's maybe in Loch Lala, or it's like that, or it's leaning against my Aga, or it's in I have a place in the Catskills of mountains. It's in northern New York, so
wow,
city, and I have a place there that my brother said is like I've bought my childhood, and I feel that's I made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I built the cabins and stuff like that, and I feel that's a really great achievement that I have as well. I have a sense of achievement, and it's just a sanctuary, and it reminds me of Scotland. And yet it's like my childhood the things that I loved about my childhood and my upbringing, made in my own way.
That's so beautiful. I love that. Well, look, thank you so much.
Thank you, friend. So nice to talk to you.
For being on Happy Place. I've loved it. And good luck with your theatre run, with Tiptoe. It's a genius show. Thank you so much, Alan.
Thank you.